Welcome back, guys. We're here at the Valdez and Joel Sophie podcast. Not sure if we're actually going to have any games today, but we're still waiting on that.
We might.
Also waiting on the sound. Not sure if you guys can even hear me right now. If that's the case, it's kind of weird if you're just watching me move my mouth.
But don't use this opportunity to say whatever you want to say. Whatever you want to say.
No, of course I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. I almost did.
Yeah. I feel like this cast would be just as effective if we just stared at the camera and smiled.
And we can wobble our mouth, though. We can wobble our lips to make sure that even if they don't hear us, they know exactly what we're saying.
Yeah, we could just be like, we're just, watermelon, 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 watermelon.
Or lemon.
You know that if you just continuously say watermelon, marshmallow, it looks like you're actually speaking.
Really?
Yeah, it's a good way to. Yeah, you're just like watermelon, marshmallow, watermelon, marshmallow, watermelon, marshmallow, watermelon, marshmallow. That's basically what we're doing right now. We're just moving our mouths.
Okay.
With no sound coming out, but looks like the game is ready. That is one thing that might be good.
Is it really?
We're gonna test again. Don't get your hopes up too much. You don't want to get jebaited.
Exactly 1 hour and 30 minutes in, we might get to our first game.
Maybe. Will it have sound, though?
Okay.
That is the real question. Oh, we've started!
Finally.
The game has started! We're here, TPP, an hour and 30 minutes in. We finally started TPP on Miramar. Taking a look now where everybody is going to drop. I don't even know how to do this, Joel. The only thing I know how to do now is cast a podcast.
Let's do this right now. Quadra going to Campo Militar as always. We saw them on the extreme end of things. In Erangel, they go to Zarki. In Miramar, they go to Campo Militar. It's a typical routine for these guys, and really expected from them once again. Round one will be a lot of question marks in the air. A lot of unspeculated areas and territories that players will soon start to discover once they find these relatively new teams that they haven't faced before in previous tournaments, because we talked about groups being different for every single tournament. And here they are. We have 2 groups of 10. And some of the teams that may not have seen before just going at it. And we might see some lot of unusual collisions for this round one. Can't expect a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I notice is that generally the teams are sticking together. We're taking a look at Los Leones. Looks like there are 4 different teams coming in here.
That is just about the maximum we've ever seen at Los Leones. 3 is the usual point, and it's kind of acceptable to a rate there. But we're still looking at OPG Rangers. Blaster X here. Landing right here.
Yeah.
Towards.
The other thing that I noticed, actually, is that C9 was very split up. They actually didn't go together to one location.
Yeah.
Katz went by himself. He's got stuck with him there at the power grid, looks like, whereas Dingception is somewhere out there on the road. Not sure exactly what's going on with those guys.
I mean, Dingception just trash-ling while Sucking Catch is just looking power grid for the 2 of them. It's not going to last too much for a full squad, that power grid.
Take a look at this, though. Montenuevo looks like Cold Rain is trying to run away as much as possible, but OPGG Rangers easily. Magne will pick up that kill. Cold Rain very separated from his squad.
And this is the unusual collision that we expected. MK, a Chinese team that came in to this Korean tournament for the very first time. This is their first appearance in any of the PKO tournaments so far.
Yeah.
And it just means that this area where OPG Rangers initially landed, right around Montenuevo, is something that they want. Won't be forgiving in the ways that round 2, MK have to probably think different things through. Talking about their next location in the next game to come.
Yeah, I mean, you'll notice that 3 members of OPGG Rangers did land up there in the top side of Montenuevo. You could tell that they wanted to stick together, at least up in the top side, which generally has some really good loot. And
the OPGG
what does
Hunters,
that say exactly?
It does say
mental?
they want to win 2 of the same tournament in a row. They're talking about PWM because they were the previous champions with 433. Was the previous embarkment to eventually them being picked up by OPGG and now renaming themselves as OPGG Hunters. One of the most highly anticipated teams in Korea are the teams that you're seeing here. They won PWM. They won the regular season of PSS. Now they're here at Season 1, the inaugural season of the SPO TV's production. Seeing if they can do it again. Of course, OPGG Hunters weren't the best team in recent weeks, so they have to kind of shape their form just a little bit to make sure they can be at the top of the table once again.
Yeah. Taking a look at Los Leones.
4 teams?
4 teams all landing here. And certainly there is enough loot to just get by if you do send in 4 teams in here. But as you were saying before, not sure if anyone heard us, but generally the teams like to avoid each other at first. You know, they don't want to fight right away. To spread out a little bit, you know, stick with your squad first, and then once you get some loot, eventually go ahead and attack the other squads.
I mean, you don't want to lose any casualties. You want to just stay healthy as much as you can, and sort of a truce that's been kind of shaken hands by all the teams that are participating. None of the teams that really wants to purposely go for a fight, even within the same city, and try to get the kills. It's not as important, because even if you do get the kills midway, in the early game.
Look at this. Trying to snipe him right now with the Heat X on the Scar.
Remember, Magne, along with his teammates from OPGG Rangers, did get that first kill onto the member of MK. So that means MK just has to get out of here from Monte Nuevo to avoid further casualties.
Yeah, looks like just the 2 of them driving away on 1 buggy. AFF not joining them here.
Yep.
Not sure exactly where he is. Why don't we take a look on our map, Joel?
Still at Monte Nuevo, right by MVP actually on the sign here. So let's be careful trying to get around to his surroundings. But look at C9, a team that really prioritizes always getting to the center of the circle, no matter how early it is. This is their typical movement point at 5-minute mark. They don't do much farming. They only stick to the basic necessities to get along with the team fight, but they really always try to get that. There's one of those teams that I was talking about earlier where they really prioritize vehicles. Of course, you see 2 players sharing that vehicle, but that's something very uncommon for Cloud9, as they always try to get as many vehicles as they can. And now, Catch and the exception just trying to get to that next location. It's also shown earlier, MK was surrounded by MVP, but MVP finding trouble now.
Yeah, they're trying to blow up that vehicle, getting pretty close, as it was smoking at least. But in the end, Blue from MVP does get away. Looks like he's trying to join the rest of his squad down there in the southeast.
Gonna get to this trash loot location. Gonna join Alpaca to join in on that ride. You talk about Eureka for Cloud9. It's gonna be all in this lonesome here. Just trying to fire away. It's more of a just get away from my territory more than trying to get a decent kill there, Eureka. You saw Freaka's Ares. Once they do hear that shots coming through, not gonna be so easily able to rush that area.
You mentioned Freak's Ares. There's actually a player named Ares.
Yeah, there is.
On Team Clux.
There it is, right here.
Yeah. So don't get confused by that. Do not get confused by the 2 members named Conan as well on 2 separate different teams. So
hey, the moment people get confused is when they actually start performing in
Conan versus Conan.
Both Conans haven't done very well for their team, and also the Team Clux altogether. You're not going to see much Ares on the line, because that team hasn't been very influential as the tide flows by in the PUBG tournaments here in Korea. And all could change, though. You know, everything could change in a heartbeat. We saw BSG Luna just come out of nowhere, seemingly as one of the best teams to look at now, and really could happen to all these teams here. OPGG Hunter seeming like they got the kill there.
Yeah, just the 2nd kill of the match. You'll notice there's still 77 people left out of the 79, so just 1 member taken out there, able to loot his body and head on their way down more southeast. They're near the top of the circle right now, so they want to head more towards the middle. Let's take a look at their profile here.
Very decorated here. You see the Asia Invitational that came through. They made it through the qualifiers, and APL Season 1, that's the inaugural season of anything related to PUBG here in Korea. They were the finalists to get their APL pilot season. They got to finals. Everything about this OPGG Hunter's team, they tasted a lot of success, but that one word we were talking about earlier, where complacency sometimes has plagued them to a point where they really have really bad days. And see how that works here, though.
Yeah, I think that was the AWM that he picked
M24,
up. M24, okay. Able to pick up one of those crates pretty early, actually. Pick up a strong gun already. Probably handing that over to the sniper player on his team.
Just a reminder that it is not the current live patch applied to these tournament servers. Means that you're not going to find a level 3 helmet, level 3 backpack, and level 3 vest guaranteed at every single crate. So the priority is still a much lower. Teams that want to pass out for it will have a good excuse to do so. Oh, jumping on that tree there, Jesna. Skills right there.
Look at this guy. He's played some Assassin's Creed in his life. Jesna coming in here. Notice that Freak of Freaks.
Fatal.
Yeah, Fatal. Seeming to have some decent loot overall. You know, he's got about 140 rounds on an M4 with the stock on it, and a decent amount of just first aids and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's pretty nice for them so far.
Freak of Freaks Fatal has been the team with very little expectations coming in, and really seeing how that works. But their sister team has kind of been the more popular team with the Freak of Freaks Ares. They were the ones expected to do a lot better than Fatal, but actually Fatal has performed a lot better than Ares did in recent performances in recent tournaments. That shows that, you know, it's not all about the popularity, it's not all about the anticipation going to a team, but it's all about just showing up in a day to make sure you can just make that proven count. And it seems that Fatal just wants to keep that good run going. A team that really needs to get a good going is Kong the Gillisud here.
Yeah, you'll notice that haven't really had too much success here. A lot of group stages overall. They were a finalist, though, over at the APL Season 1. So that's their biggest title that they've gotten so far.
So a relatively new team compared to their sister team with Kong the Red Dot, who has had a lot more success going to finals and winning out some of the tournaments. And here's their sister team joined in by Evermore. We thought the initial strategy, kind of intent of that, was to give a more experienced player to these young squad of players who can be taken under that leadership to make sure they find a lot more strategic ways to win out games. But it ended up being Evermore's not playing anymore, and it's been taking a lot of rest from practice altogether. And now he is in the bench, while the other 4 players who were supposed to be led by Evermore are trying to find success by themselves.
SK has picked up here for Dingception. Looks like they've got a pretty nice location near the center of the circle. You
they always do.
That. They're right there in the middle. And already taking some shots here at Ocean, who's just going to get away on a vehicle.
We talked about MK losing out a member very early in this game, one of the first players to go out. And C9, you know, Valdez, you'll see this again and again. If you want to see where C9 is on the map, just look for the center of the circle.
Yeah.
He'll be there.
Junsu here. Looks like Klux is pretty close to another team. It looks like Lunatic High Flux right next to each other. And I mean, it looks like now the circle is going to be pretty forgiving. Not terrible here, but you'll notice that some of the teams down at the bottom are going to have some trouble and move towards the center. You'll also notice that C9, of course, already making some moves in. They might be able to butt heads here, though, with a Freak of Freaks Ares towards the center.
And see how that goes, because the new circle opening up means that C9 will be moving again, but MVP against MK here. Can he win without 3-man squad? It's gonna be important here.
Stone able to knock 1 member, but that's just 2 members of MK going up against 4, and generally you're not going to win that battle unless you're getting the headshots right away. As perfectly done by MVP. They took the risk to come in, only found themselves going up against 2 members, which was quite nice. If it was more, that wouldn't have been so good. And
that's where the 3rd member is, right there on the backside of that map. You see AFF. Why were you split up when you have 3-man squad to begin with? You're kind of risking that danger factor when you're talking about already splitting up when you have lesser man than a potential full squad rushing into you. And kind of a missed decision there by the Chinese team. And they thought that perhaps even a full team rushing in, they can defend out against it, but definitely wrong on the decision making in that process there.
So Katz was just taking some shots at a vehicle that was going by. Now Allen up here is just going to get locked down. The rest of his team is behind him, but they were pretty split up.
Yeah.
Nicely done by Roa to just knock him down, and she was a little bit too far forward.
Allen just wanted to be that scout to see if anybody fired, and definitely someone did fire, and Roa got the kill that he needed for Fatal. And the rest of the detonators now having that information, where are they going to make their detour? It's going to be the important question here.
Yeah, Roa, the rest of his team all pretty happy with their position right now towards the bottom left side of this circle. And they're up in the hills, which gives them a nice amount of cover. Didn't notice any vehicles over here that I can see, whereas DTN, Detonation.
Yep, Detonator.
Detonator.
Yep.
Yeah, they...
3rd time's the charm on that one,
yeah,
Valdez.
We'll get it eventually. Too many teams to learn on the first day. Detonator they do have at least that one. Mini picked up here for Shadow. He has eyes actually on MVP.
Yep.
See if he can get any shots down.
Okay, Shadow looking at through the mini. See MVP not really willing to peek out their heads on that one, and you gotta remind yourself that it is TPP, so they're trying to just use that vision to get the position there. But Armor going against RNG Maximus there. School having a fun time against Conan there.
Yep, the first Conan has fallen, so we have the winner of the Conan battle. And it was not from that team, RNG Maximus.
Yep. So it's going to be Lunatic Eye Conan winning round 1 here. That's the mini game we are going to always be focused on.
Yeah. You notice that Cloud9 weren't really able to move more towards the center after moving in. Crate gonna land right on top of a Freak's Ares.
Yep.
Let's see what they pick up here. Because there's so much cover around this area too, right on top.
Grade.
It's so good for them.
Anything that comes about, they'll say thank you and just bon appetit on that one. And Rosar, it just means like gift coming from the sky. Could be going towards Nightwolves here. Of course, the team that is the only team that starts off with a 3-man squad. They will always be disadvantaged in an early game situation. And AUG, out of all the options here, and even an Adrenaline Syringe coming in. That's an item that you don't see in normal rotations before this patch came out.
Yeah. We got a lot of people outside the circle now. You'll notice that Cloud9 and Sandbox is going to be controlling the bottom side against so many teams there.
No,
Take a look at the right side too, though. Actaz red.
Yeah, Actaz Stars red.
They are holding the right side as Asterisk is coming in. Lunatic Eye Flux, though, on top of the hill, trying to keep the right side as well.
Yep, Hana has been the top fragger for his team, and Lunatic Eye Flux, they've had shown good performances on their shooting, and they're showing it once again with that UMP. Hana showing what is up against Nova and Quadro. Now finding a little bit difficulty to get that res up because it's going to be surrounded by 3 teams here with Quadro and Active Stars red, along with Lunatic Eye Flux on the left. Oh, Quadro, that was a bad decision there.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming in trying to save their teammates, but they're right in between 2 or 3 different squads that are just shooting them down from multiple locations. So very unfortunate for them there. You notice that Wookie is still alive, but Bappo actually able to take out Sug.
Yep.
As these 2 teams going to go head-to-head in the building.
Okay, we're still looking at this building. A catch here is going to get the kill onto Bappo. Very nicely done by the top fragger for C9. Oh, but he gets the kill on the other, and Magne is going to get the revenge.
Yeah, now it's just up to Dingception. Eureka, but Dingception gets knocked down by Siege.
Eureka is the only one left here.
See if he can do it. Still Dingception only knocked, but as you mentioned, Eureka gonna have to be the hero.
And this is their play all the time. In C9, you know, we talked about they had a good rotation on the edge, and they could just stay there, but their greed for always going to the center of the circle, this is what cost them, and they ran into MVP and they ran into OPGG Rangers, all these teams they didn't have to run into if they didn't try to get that greed over to the center of the circle. They could stay on the edge, try to be the gatekeepers, and could have stayed alive for a lot longer, but now Eureka's all on his own, so trying to get the highest standing as he can.
Yeah, you notice that Quadro was the first team to go down. We saw their unfortunate positioning earlier on, so they do go down here. Also notice that Eureka, he doesn't want to go res his teammate just yet. He's taking it very, very slow. He's still got some time. It was just the first time Dingception was knocked, of course. He's going to wait until the last second, potentially, to go out and help his teammate.
Yeah, Dingception isn't safe right now. You see the windows crack. That's going to prompt the OPGG Rangers to look towards that direction because they probably have an idea that the res is happening. But you see, no windows on that building over there. Perpendicular to that angle, so not going to be able to find something. This is a cheeky spot right here. You can just throw it in there and might not be seen. There you go. Eureka knows the strats.
This is third person, so you can just chill down there prone, see anyone coming at you, and use that to defend. You notice that Kongdu Gilly suit trying to come in here. Asterisk, though, we're going to take a look at some other fights. It's Tupac going to gun one down here from Klux.
Leclos going to go down, yeah. Leclos going to be going down for Klux, leaving 1 member strong to the side of Klux. Still looking at this rotation here. Kongdu Gilly suit now see the circle very close to them, so going to probably wait to the very end to make the rotation.
Oh,
Dingception.
Yeah, they were trying to get away here, but they were just gunned down on the bike. Nicely done by actually MVP and OPGG. Rangers to take out that C9 squad.
There's a team effort there. Cloud9, like I said, they didn't have to make the rotation. They kind of forced it more than anything without much information of what was ahead of them. And OPGG Rangers now finding a little bit of trouble against MVP here.
Look at this, though. They're going to challenge Blaster X, who's all alone on the top of this hill. It's 4-on-1. The scout in the front in a lot of trouble. One more shot will do it. And down he does go.
OPGG Rangers, Blaster X thought he was smart, just picking out some shots across a moving vehicle, but they didn't know that 4 members were going to just group up that quickly and come for that reinforcement to make it a 4v1 situation. You know how the ending is going to go on that one.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about different strategies. MVP, that's the second time they move in as a 4-man squad in one vehicle and attack one member.
Yeah.
They do exactly that. And it's been working out for them so far. Look at the circle. Very unfortunate for Kongdu Gillisud. They got to somehow get away from Asterisk, who has the high ground on the hill.
They initially had a very good position on the compounds that were at the edge of the previous circle, but now we're going into this action where Asterisk have a little bit tough of assignment for them, as Kongdu Gillisud has to be defended out, but the gatekeeping duties are being abandoned here by Asterisk.
Good position for Hyper. Going to try to gun down Michael. Gets close, but nearly goes down himself. Oh, yeah, now he is going to be knocked.
It's going to be fired by Lunatic Eye Flux from behind, so Asterisk very unfortunate in the way that they want to just take care of Kongdu Gillisud all by themselves, but they're having a little bit of trouble because they have to just worry about Lunatic Eye Flux across the other side.
Yeah, definitely can get pretty rough, especially when you don't have that many smokes. You'll notice that Asterisk did send some down. OPGG Rangers being gunned down here by Siege. Gonna throw out a grenade there.
Nice grenade. I think that might connect. $4 OK looking very dangerous, but that was very close. You see the explosion coming in there, and last one is gonna connect. Siege getting the action there onto that grenade. Just throw it to that same location. You know you're gonna get the kill.
How many grenades does this guy have? Not going to be able to take him out just yet. You'll notice Bappo is trying to get some cover so that he can res him.
Res potential looking for Bappo here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, 2 other members of MVP are currently knocked.
Okay, but looking at Afrika Freaks Fatal, they're going to join the action with OPGG Rangers and also MVP.
Is he actually going to try to res Jaden here? A bit risky. Yeah. He has a lot of cover, so if they have enough aids, they can definitely, you know, get outside of that blue and then get back in, but we'll see.
Yeah, Jaden does go down to the blue circle, as you can see, and Jasna and Shadow have to be the ones to try to survive in. Now, we talk about this action between OPGG Rangers and MVP. They do not realize that Afrika Freaks Fatal is right behind their tracks, right outside the circle. So that means that Shadow and Jasna can surprise him to a point where the 2 teams fight against each other with MVP and also OPGG Rangers, and the winner out that might find a very unfortunate situation where they might get struck from behind from Afrika Freaks Fatal.
I love what they're doing, Afrika Freaks Fatal, just waiting it out. Oh boy, the 2 Gillisud members rather gonna go down.
They were hunted down.
Yeah, they were trying to charge in here against the Hunters, but they got their necks broken by Breakneck.
Hey!
I know, it's
this is the no audio situation.
We got a lot of opportunity here
man.
in PWM. There's a lot of fun different names that we can use to our advantage, but
there you go.
So far the Hunters looking so strong. They've challenged many different members, and they've been looting, and they have a really fantastic position here right next to the circle. I wonder what their next move is going to be. It looks like they have one mountain to take cover against. Speaking of which, we still have this battle going on.
Yeah, MVP and OPGG Rangers. These 2 teams, obviously Siege looking like he's a little bit on the lonesome, so that fight did continue on while we were off camera.
Yeah, the Afrika members also never fully pushed in. They finally moved inside of the circle now, but they were waiting for the other squads to fight first, and then they would move in.
See Afrika Freaks Ares with Davey looking towards Klux here. On the other end, you do see Fatal on the other end, and see how that interacts here. Okay, you see the grenades being thrown left and right here. Leclerc has a really good angle onto it. If he can get lucky with one of the grenades connecting, could mean push time for the side of Team Klux.
He's only got bandages at this point.
Hey, 14 of them, that's going to get you back to 75% health, and that's all you need at this point here.
He's trying to get up here. Looks like Bappo finally did go down there on the left side, and Detonator did eventually get fully taken out. Didn't really get them on screen, but they did go down.
Okay, so we just want to focus a little more on the on-screen action here as we do look at Freaks Ares still going at it. against Klux. You see Leclerc on the top here. He's going to get somehow shot by Gukhyun from the bottom of the ground here, but Rose are going to get shot right back. So has to be aware for Sandbox, who's going to be on the other side here, making a Freaka Freaks fatal Ares situation a little bit tougher because they have to worry about two teams on two different angles here.
Klux taken out there, both Leclo and Sistinx. There was just no way for them to get out of there.
Now they have to look towards that direction because they're done with Klux now. They have to look towards Sandbox to make sure they can get the most out of this 4v4 scenario.
Oh boy, Asterix in a bit of trouble. You'll notice Hana on the left side trying to take him out here. A very close fight.
Two really good fraggers with Fizi and Hana, who's going to get the win, but Hana with that clutch HP.
But they were being shot from behind by the Hunters.
Yeah, Mental
in a perfect position with the rest of his team. Just saw the fight going on, took him out at the end of it.
Yeah, let's look at a full people squad here. OPGD Hunters 4-man squad. You talk about Freaka Freaks Ares 4-man squad. Sandbox Recon also at 4-man squad as well. So these three teams looking like strong contenders for the first chicken dinner of the night here. And you know, we've waited a long time for this Valdez to get the first chicken dinner, and who's gonna get it? Still looking at Freaka Freaks Ares, still scouting around towards Sandbox to get some nice kills that will be crucial for this end game here.
Yeah, they've got a good position on Sandbox, but it looks like they are being shot from behind just a little bit. Trying to stop them from getting into the blue. Not able to do much more than vehicle damage here.
They're just looking at it here. Do get off the vehicles and just trying to get into the circle as close as they can. Finding it difficult though, because Ether and the rest of Sandbox is trying to move to the next circle, but they know that Freaka Freaks Ares just jumps on top of them, making it very difficult to do so.
The blue is coming in, and Sandbox must move. But look at this position for Daehui. Not able to get a kill there, but he at least gets them low. Wants to join his team. Finally able to peek above and take him out. Noongil also helping with the kill there. Now it's really just up to either to win for his team. He's all alone.
Talked about a 4-man squad being viable for a potential chicken dinner. Now Sandbox went from 4-1 here, as he's still experiencing a lot of difficulties here against the side of Freaka Freaks Ares. Can he get that done though?
Lunatic High Flux looking like they're in a little bit of trouble, held down here by Rosar, who is in the middle of the circle. Great position for him. But OPGG Hunters, they're going to move in with the blue, and they got a crate waiting for them. Not sure if they saw that. They're actually just trying to get up the hill. Breakneck going to be knocked here by Retri.
It's a good start for here. For Lunatic High Flux, only 2 members. They have to go against a full squad of OPGG Hunters. You know how difficult that can be.
Yeah, Rakan Armor and Sandbox finally going down as teams. The stragglers on their teams being taken out. We only have 4 members, or rather 4 teams left over. Breakneck going to be the first one to go down here, and Taman also knocked. Means that OPGG Hunters not in a great spot.
Oh, Freaka Freaks Ares, look at that circle right there. Perfect one. They invested themselves very close to the center of the circle, and meaning that all 4 players right now in the safe zone can be very flexible in the way they rotate around this current circle, making it impossible for all of these teams to make their entrance. AST now just trying to make their entrance.
Daehui, though, he scouts him out. He's trying to take out Alumni. Finally takes him here, but they got to charge up the hill. And Daehui in a perfect spot. Trying to take out Calvin. And look at this, Gukhyun also trying to help him out, but he actually gets knocked from a different location.
So he's going to get knocked from Cold on the other side, so it's going to be important to get that done. AST now using that chance as a distraction to go back against the Freaka Freaks Ares. Now looking very dangerous for this team here.
Wow, Daehui, the only one really left in the front there. Very low on health. Noongil, though, still alive, and Taman able to take out the rest of Lunatic High Flux.
OPGG Hunters, masterful piece of plays right there, because they knew that all the distractions were going through. They were not being the full team to be focused upon by the other teams. They used that timing to make sure they get the 2 kills onto Lunatic High Flux when everyone was distracted, and that collects them a very good position in this late circle.
OPGG Hunters, you'll notice that one of the members did go over and get the crate. Didn't really get to see that, but it looks like it's cold over there. Using that for a bit of cover as well. Just trying to prone their way up the hill.
Now the 3 members of OPGG Hunters in this position look very, very strong. AST is looking towards the Freaka Freaks Ares all the way. They're not even looking towards the left, where OPGG Hunters are currently located, which means that this is a situation where a Freaka Freaks Ares, feeling like they're really confident about the situation, is looking a lot more dangerous than it seems.
Cold was the one looking at AST. He had his sights on this Chinese team, able to take out 1 member.
Oh, look at that patience right now. He sees him, but he's not going for the shots right away.
The grenade.
is going to go down. That patience pays off for him. Ooh. And a wonderful play coming in from Cold. What a play to get that on.
Okay, now it's just OPGG Hunters versus Afrika Freaks Ares. 3-on-2 right now.
Absolutely clinical coming from OPGG Hunters. They're looking like in a good position. They might win this 3v2, but we see a knock coming from Taemin.
Taemin a little bit too aggressive, charging up the hill, trying to get position in the white circle here.
2v2. Who's going to get this one? And looking like OPGG Hunters has the best aggression here, but Davi's going to go, then that will be. Oh, we see OPGG Hunters in a play where they were down a man against a lot of the four-man squads, still looking strong with the smart plays around the edges, using the distraction to their advantage and knowing the timings when to go in and having the patience at the same time. All of that combinates into OPGG Hunters getting the first chicken dinner tonight.
Yeah, I was impressed by some of the other teams and what they were able to do, but as you mentioned, OPGG Hunters, one of the favorites coming into this one and proving it in the first match, TPP on Miramar. They will pick up that first chicken dinner. Fantastically done, so patient as you mentioned, and even their play there at the end, you know, they knew exactly where the two teams were. Okay, AST on the right in the smoke, it's very obvious. Just wait for them, they have to move. And then the rest of them just keep their eyes on Afrika Freaks. You can see them now on your screen. Very, you gotta feel a bit of pity for them. They were really, really close, 2-on-2, but they could not get the win in the end.
You did see Nungia on the screen talking to his teammates, consolating them at the same time of looking through what went wrong, and something they could have easily gotten as a chicken dinner. They lose a couple of 100 points just by coming in second place instead of first.
Yeah, so guys, we are going to go to a quick commercial break before we get to FPP on Miramar.